Hello and welcome to another InstaForex daily market analysis. For today, I decided to cover British pound versus US dollar. We'll speak about Bitcoin, dollar index, gold market, crude oil, and NASDAQ 100. I will begin with the British pound versus US dollar first. So what we have here is, let's start from a bottom left chart, which is the daily time frame of the British pound dollar. So you can see that the 20-day moving average is on the test, and the 20-day moving average is set at pretty much where the Friday's low is at around 1.2726. And from my perspective, you can see the weekly time frame. We had an inside week last week. So indecision on the weekly time frame, the daily had a pullback, and we had a series of the lower highs and lower lows in the hourly time frame. Now, I will say in case the downside breakout of the 1.2724, there will be a chance for the bigger drop, and the next downside objective short term, I will say will be this low from 2 weeks ago, and that is a 1.2655. We also can see that there is we have the area of the recent swing highs that can be in the play based on a daily time frame. So 1.2690, 1.2700, and then 1.2655. For now, we have some rally in the morning, so that's why I would like to see the potential breakout to the downside to potentially open this scenario for further drop and downside movement. Otherwise, there is a chance for a reaction of this moving average and retest of the Friday's high around 1.2758. But I think the bigger reward side is to the downside in case of this downside breakout. Now, speaking of the Bitcoin versus US dollar, this is I think pretty interesting. The last week we had a pretty much indecision week last week after the period of the pretty much parabolic move in the last couple of weeks. This is a potential for the downside rotation. We had a reaction of this 20-day moving average, but the market closed still within this down bar. On the hourly time frame, we can see series of the lower highs and lower lows. So let's take a look of here. We have this lower high, lower low, and another one. So we have two lower highs and two lower lows, which is a sign that we're changing trend dynamic from bullish to bearish short term, and that there will be a chance for further downside movement from my perspective, and at least another downside leg. And the downside objectives, obviously the Friday's low at 64,460, but we can also see potential test of the spin bar territory, an area around 61,000 and 60,000 mark that can definitely be in the play. So pay attention to the downside of the Bitcoin, especially if we can take this pullback low from this morning, which is around the 66,700 mark. Now, dollar index, we had a rally here, so we took this consolidation, but marked we have a bunch of moving averages at this point, 20, 50, 100, and 150. Weekly time frame, we had an inside. Let me just remove this. We had an inside week last week on the dollar index. But overall, what I like at this point is that we kind of had a failure of the breakout of the lows here, and market strong rejection. So from my perspective, after the period of the correction, and this will be all just the one consolidation, so if we can retake the 103.50 mark, there will be a chance for the rally even towards the 103.90 mark. 103.90 mark will be the next upside objective on dollar index. Gold market, we can see, and we're experiencing the pullback and at least downside move, at least correction at this point. The weekly time frame, we had an inside week, pretty narrow inside week last week, and we're breaking to the downside so far this week, and we already have a lower low this week relative to last week. On the hourly time frame, we can see just a natural reaction, more like a natural pullback based on this downside move. So from my perspective, there is a still chance for the lower price on the dollar on the gold market, and the next downside objective is set around 21.16. And then we have something for a bigger drop, and the area around 2160, 2170 mark. This is in case of the bigger drop, but next short-term potential downside objective is 2117, 2120 mark. So potential for the downside continuation on the dollar index. From the other side, the WTI, so the crude oil, is holding very strong. We had an outside week, inside, and another outside week to the upside, closing on the high. It's really the relative strength leader, and there will be a chance for the further rally on the WTI. The objective is 83.80, 83.90 mark, and then the next one will be around 90 mark. So this will be the short-term objectives. You can see how the hourly did nice ABC, and it's really looking strong and holding very strong in this momentum. So the breakout of the multi-week balance and a relative strength leader, WTI, potential for the further upside movement. And checking the NASDAQ. So NASDAQ 100, we finally had a down break of this consolidation, and we had a tail in the background. Last week we had also tail in the lower low, so there is a chance definitely for some bigger drop from my perspective on US 100, on NASDAQ 100, and we had a 50-day rising around 17,627, and then the pin bar territory around 17,500 and 17,365. This morning we can see that market is rallying, but this can just be a pullback, a natural pullback for a further downside movement in next period. So pay attention to that downside continuation move. That will be all for this update, guys. Hope that you did enjoy, and have a good trading day, and speak to you from tomorrow morning.